I'm your host, Doug Young, Director of Athletics, and we're here today to talk a little football. We're getting ready now for the last game of the season against Central State, and our guest today is Dave Taynor, our head football coach, and later on we're going to have Travis Brisco, one of the leaders of our defense. And today, Dave Taynor, welcome. The Blue Knights found a way to win last week 30-14 against Seton Hill, and I wanted to ask, what do you think the key factors of success were last week?
Well, we went into the game against Seton Hill, I think, with a very good game plan, both from an offensive and defensive game point. The plans that we put into action, we did really well with throughout the game. We did face a little bit of adversity early on in the game. We had a couple goal line stands that Seton Hill was able to keep us out of the end zone, and then we made a big play. Daniel Goodrum had an interception that returned for a touchdown and gave us a 14-7 lead at the half. And also in the process of that, we had our quarterback, David Gerber, who played most of the first half, was actually injured just prior to the start of the half, and we came out in the second half and adjusted our game plans, and our student athletes did a great job of adjusting to what we were going to do. We put a little bit more emphasis on the run game in the second half, and Iler offensively kind of led us. He had 20 carries for 65 yards, adjusting from being, playing receiver to moving into the backfield and playing some running back, and then also lining up as a quarterback in different wildcat formations that we use. Had 20 carries for 65 yards and 3 touchdowns in the run game. So, I think part of the keys to success in the game was our student athletes did a great job of adjusting to the game plan and the flow of the game and staying focused on what our goal was, which was to go into the game and find a way to be successful and to get the win.
Coach, this week we travel to Central State and play a big game against the Marauders in McPherson Stadium in Wilberforce, Ohio. Game time at 12:30 p.m. What do you feel like the team needs to do to win in that game?
Well, as we go into Central State, which is our last game of the year, we'll prepare for it as we have any of our other opponents. We start the week in a process where we feel we're 0-0, and we want to do the due diligence throughout the week to get ourselves in a position that we're going to be 1-0 at the end of the week. In that planning process, we establish our game plans. We go out and we go through practices on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, which are full practices. Get ready for the game, and then our keys to performance this week is going to be really related on continuing to ride the momentum of what we've done defensively over the last 5 weeks, where I think we've played some great defensive ball games, play behind our defense a little bit, and then also establish our run game against Central State, play a physical brand of football that we want to take and attack them, kind of build on what we did this past week against Seton Hill, and play a mistake-free football. If we can go into the game, we feel pretty comfortable. If we're able to eliminate turnovers, costly penalties, and play well on special teams, we give ourselves a great opportunity to win.
And how important do you feel like this week's performance is going to be on this year's 2010 recruiting class?
Well, because of the local nature of the game, we play Central State being about 30 minutes away from where we're at. It always has a profound impact on the local recruiting base, and that's a strong emphasis that we place in the state of the football in the state of Ohio has an extremely deep and rich talent pool. And especially in the local areas, we want to focus on keeping kids close to home, giving them an opportunity to play Division II college football. And by having a couple local wins with our earlier win this season against University of Dayton, and then also if we can pull this one out against Central State, will give us, hopefully some advantages going into the recruiting season.
And Coach, last year we were 1-10 in 2008. Now this year we've had a remarkable improvement to now 5-5, and we're on the cusp of if we win one more game, we'll have tied the all-time record in wins for the Urbana Blue Knight football program. What do you think has been the main foundation as to why all the great improvements from last year to this year?
Well, coming off of last season, in which myself and our coaches had a very shortened period of time in order to get prepared for that season, and also not really having a full recruiting class, we weren't really able to establish an identity going into the 2008 season. So that was a major focus for us in the off season, And most of the improvements that we have made are due to the investment our student athletes put into what they did in the off season and their preparation for this upcoming season. And by investing in themselves, they put themselves in a position where they developed an identity as a program. And our identity as a program, to kind of go into it, we want to focus on having great want-to tempo in us. And the idea with want-to is we want very passionate student athletes that are passionate about what they're doing on the field, in the classroom, in the community. We want great tempo, which is work ethic. It's putting the work behind and investing in what you're doing. And the last part is developing an us factor. When you have a group of guys that are all committed and have similar want-to and tempo, you start to develop that us factor. And that's where we're starting to become. This season, if we're able to win this Saturday and finish this season at 6-5, yeah, it's a winning season, and it equals the best season in Urbana University history. But it's just one step in where we want to go as a program.
And where is that we want to go with the program? What do you see as that winning season, is where it's going to take us into the future?
Well, it puts us in a position which now we've learned how to win ball games. We've won several ball games this year that have been fourth quarter games, found ways to win those games. We go through another off season where we continue to invest in ourselves and understand that being 6-5, and we get quite a few handshakes and people saying that's if we finish this season at 6-5. Then we'll get a few handshakes and people will be happy with where we went, but we're not content at all. We look at this season and there's opportunities where we could have won other ball games that we didn't win, and we want to make sure that we do the things necessary in the off season through recruiting and through our off season investment, that we don't let those games slip away this next year.
Coach Dave Taynor, ladies and gentlemen, we hope to see you at McPherson Stadium in Wilberforce, Ohio on Saturday afternoon, game time 12:30. Hope to see you there. Welcome back to the Blue Knight Sports Report. And today's guest now is Travis Brisco, a junior linebacker on the Blue Knight football program. Currently the career sack leader in Blue Knight history with 31, and also the Division II Defensive Player of the Week after his outstanding performance against Tusculum College. The first question I have to ask you is what are your motivating factors that have helped you achieve success on and off the field here at Urbana University?
Well, I'm a very self-motivated person. I have a passion for my sport, and I have a passion for school. But I think the biggest motivating factor in my life is definitely my family. My family enjoys to see me achieve success, and they enjoy to watch me do good things. And anytime I can make them happy is always a good thing for me.
Travis, you're currently leading the nation in Division II football in tackles for loss, and are second in total sacks this year. What do the personal goals mean to you?
The personal goals are, they're a plus, but they're not the main goal. The main goal for me as a player is to win football games. If that means me having 5 sacks in a game or me having 3 tackles, as long as we win the football game, that is definitely what is the objective of our program and of me as a person.
And after our season concludes, what are your personal goals and your team goals throughout the off season going into next year, which is going to be a big senior season for you?
Well, next season we have to continue to improve in the off season. We have to continue to embody what our coaches have been teaching us, which is 1-2 tempo in us. We have to get stronger. We have to get faster. And next season, our goal, like every other season, is to win every football game we play. We intend to go into every game 0-0 and come out 1-0, and that is the intentions of this week coming up against Central State. That is the goal of the off season, to win every game, and when we start preparation for next season, that is definitely the goal.